Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, welcome
Let's go.
back, traders. We are coming at you live. How are we doing today? We are going to be covering ticker symbol GME. Yes, that's right. GameStop, AMC, and then a surprise hidden stock. One that I think is freaking amazing, and that's Wingstop. Wingstop serving up those freaking tendies, man, is slated to do something pretty amazing, I think. But GameStop is what I wanted to start with. I wanted to go over the weekly close and just how important it is, guys. You closed at 22.51, right? And your 50-day EMA, the thing that slapped you down here, you closed 1 penny above it. Now, I don't have to be a magician, but that is insane, right? To tell you that you closed 1 penny above this indicator and you closed above your 9-day EMA. So that's genuinely a bullish thing, showing that the short-term trend has remained bullish. Although one thing I am watching for is on the daily time frame, you can see, although you got this swing up in price action, right? You came back up and you filled the gap like we talked about. You filled the gap sitting at 23.10. You saw this consolidation and this overall downtrend in volume while price was going up. And then that broke. And that broke to the downside. You saw bears step in. You saw a rejection candle. And so what you do going into next week, early next week, as early as Monday or Tuesday, is going to be absolutely crucial, ladies and gentlemen, seeing that not only have you put in a lower high, right? $24, $23, but you also have this bearish breakout in volume more than the last. And you are sitting within a falling wedge. So I am inclined to believe that you're going to come all the way down here to $19. Now that is a good thing, guys. And I want you to think with that perspective of a value trader, DFV, right, guys? When you look at the fear and greed index, you can see crypto still in extreme fear, which is crazy. And the stock market is sitting right there at neutral, 45, give or take. And what is so significant about where we are currently? Where we are currently is short-term bullish, right? You're sitting above the EMAs. You've established a new uptrend, which is a good sign. That is a genuinely good sign. And you should expect some kind of bounce around this range. But whether or not you're to hold it, right? You could do something like this. Come down, see a bounce. Maybe test one more time, 2 more times, and then you go. Nothing is guaranteed. But what I'd like to see is a bullishly divergent lower low, and then for this thing to absolutely hit the ground running. Because when you look and you zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, I want to see what the macro picture on this stock looks like. And the more you zoom out, the more absolutely tasty, scrumptious, delicious this thing looks. You can see this is a falling wedge, a macro wedge you've been in since May of 23. Now, I don't have to look far to tell you guys that that is a bullish reversal sign and that this is the kind of price action that typically comes from a falling wedge. You can see the steep lowering resistance, lowering support. Now, eventually, right, you break that. You make a higher high in the local time frame, one more low, and then typically you'll start to see a more significant break. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, right? There's other examples. I'll give you one right now. This is another example. That's a descending triangle. Give me a falling wedge. Come on, you loser. That's a falling wedge. Another example, right? You break it, you retest it, and then you go. And to see that GameStop isn't a falling wedge, one of my favorite, all-time favorite macro reversal signals, I'm bullish. And so I'm watching the volume profiles, I'm watching the RSI, and I'm watching the MACD. The MACD, you've done something significant. You have rejected the cross down on the daily time frame. So if there was ever a bullish scenario on the short term, this is it. you are holding your daily MACD, you are holding your 9-day EMA. That is still bullish, guys. But when I zoom out to the weekly, things get even more exciting because you can see just how close you are to getting the weekly MACD cross. One of my favorite, hands down, one of my favorite bullish reversal patterns is the weekly RSI cross. And you can see how much it's meant to this stock. Every single time, move up, move up, move up, move up. Every single run has been predicated by an RSI band cross and a MACD weekly cross. So the fact that you're like kissing it, you're like that to the weekly MACD is inherently insanely bullish. But it doesn't have to happen next week, right? You could see this price action come down. You could do the same thing you did back in early December, see it expand one more time, and then it smashes it, right? That's what could happen. And that's kind of what I want to happen because I want to see this opportunity, right? This opportunity to accumulate dirt cheap shares. And when you go and you look at the RSI on the weekly time frame, you've crossed the weekly RSI band once again after failing and seeing that rejection. You've come back up and you've crossed it. So every single time, guys, you've seen that cross, and the true breakout move has been predicated, right? You saw it here back in April. You saw it here back in October, and that marked your bottom. You saw it here back in April, and that literally to the penny marked your bottom. So when you're talking about trading on GameStop, it doesn't come much more lucrative and much more obvious than following your basic indicators, right? Your MACD and your RSI. And these two things happening at the same time is almost always a good thing. You see back here, you see it back here, you see it back here. And so the fact that you're getting it again could mean volatility is on the horizon. And thank God, thank goodness, right? It feels like we have just been trading with no real means or no real gain, just flat. Absolutely flat, waiting for something to happen. That's weird. I don't know why my trading view did that. What a silly goose. Just trading within this wedge. So I'm expecting a bullishly divergent low here. So theoretically, right, what does that look like? You come down and you make a higher low on the RSI, but make a lower low on the price. Now, once that happens, I will be pounding my fist on the table saying this thing has looked better than it has ever looked and that it may ever look, right? Let's see. Whoops, gotta adjust. There we go. Has looked better than it ever looks. But before we get further into AMC, guys, I just want to say thank you guys for 1,000 subs. God bless you guys, and slap that sub button. If you guys are finding value or intrigued in the way and the passion that I speak about this community and this basket, right, of stocks, slap that sub button, slap the like button, and let's get back on track, right? So the weekly looks actually pretty nice. You printed an inside bar, so nothing significant, kind of a nothing burger candle, 6% off your 7%. Consolidation is really what you got. On the monthly time frame, not much. You saw a hammer candle, and this is the opportunity that you're looking at. You're looking at a potential inverted hammer. Now, if that were to happen, I'm saying you're going up, in my opinion, not financial advice. But if you do not, right, let's say you print a shooting star, it's much more likely that you come down here and you consolidate in these levels before you see that macro spring back to your point of control sitting at $28 and potentially even further, guys. If you break $28 on GameStop, things become very interesting. And why do I say that? I say that because you should subscribe. Nah, I'm joking. Let me pull up the VRVP. The VRVP is one of, if not the best. Oh no, I got to get rid of the MACD first. Premium. Dang you, premium. VRVP. The VRVP is one of the best one of the absolute best ways to find your most traded location on a stock. If I zoom out all the way. Come on. Oh my Lanta. So you can see the area in which you have the most volume is this $28 to $30 level. Now, why is that so significant? Because where you see the most volume, guys, you are going to see the most price action. You just are. And predicated on the daily time frame, you can see how many different taps of this horizontal trend you've rejected, and you've rejected to absolute oblivion. You've been smashed and you've been battered and you have failed to close above it for an extended period of time every single time. But I will tell you, every single time you've gotten above it, you've found Valhalla. You have absolutely slingshotted. This is the perfect example. You broke above 28, you come back, you retest 27.60, and then you saw 3 candles that were 10%, 7%, and 6%. Another great example is right here. Broke above 22, closed on top of 30, and then that next candle just took you to 80. Why not, right? And then you came all the way back down. You closed on top of 28, and then you gapped below 30%. So when you fail to hold it, guys, you see crazy moves. When you break above it, you see crazy moves. So that's what we're watching for on the macro, because above 28, you would be landing somewhere in between this 40 to arguably $45 territory, depending on where you go. With our macro targets, guys, on GameStop sitting at $30, which is one of our gap fills. Funny enough, you have a gap fill at 28. Sitting at 28.42, and then your second gap sitting at 29.66, with the third gap fill that we are waiting for GameStop to fill sitting all the way at 72 and change. As you fill, you have never filled it, but on GameStop, typically you fill every single gap, guys. It is typical for you to come all the way back up or all the way back down. And you've yet to do it for this one. You had this happen in June of 2021. You're still waiting to see that move back up, and you almost had it here. But I do believe in the bullish continuation of this trend and a break of this bullish falling wedge. So with that, guys, slap the subscribe button and let's get in to AMC. All right. Amy, I actually have not looked at this chart. I'm being honest. I have not looked at this chart. This is real-time, real view analysis of AMC. But first, let's move this right side price. I don't know why TradingView is doing this. Absolutely silly. Move it back to the right side. There we go. All right, AMC breaking down from every single trend, and it's kind of icky. It's not great. You've broken your weekly bullish divergence. You technically still have it here and here. But that trend line, right? Although it's bullish divergence, you just broke the trend line. And typically when you see those trend line breaks, you see a pretty significant move, and you saw that. You saw a absolute capitulation of the stock. And so I do not believe that this is the bottom. Because typically on these bottoms, guys, you see candles like this, right? 19% green hammer candle, long wick. And then you see that bullish divergence occur. Now, although we have the bullish divergence on the RSI, which is when the RSI makes a lower low and the price makes, or no, RSI makes a higher low, price makes a lower low. We are waiting to see that kind of candle. And truthfully, that's as simple as it is. You go to the daily time frame, you see this was the first candle that you saw a little bit of fight, a little bit of struggle. But look at these the series of candles here, guys, you have closed at the bottom of the candle every single time. You closed, your low was 197, you closed 197. Your low was 192, you closed 193. Your low was 182, you closed 182. Your low was 178, you closed 178. So you get the theme. You're not seeing any bullish buying pressure, which is concerning. You want to see this bullish engulfing candle that takes you back, right? You want to see the long wick hammer candle like this that rallies you up, but you're not seeing that yet. And so what I like to look at is I like to see this bullish. Actually, that's not bullish divergence. That's just nothing. AMC, Amy, what are you doing? I mean, this is technically bullish divergence. It's a higher low, significantly lower low. But still, on the macro, we've had it charted for quite some time, and this was the absolute worst case scenario for AMC, but still a scenario that you could watch. Is that on the macro, we'll go to the weekly to make it a little bit easier, and we'll get rid of the MACD. Get out of here. On the macro time frame, from IPO, I believe it's 2011, 2014, right? 2014. You saw a bounce. Saw a bounce back in 2020, double bottom, and then you saw this bounce in 2024. Now, that has marked your low every single time, almost, right? This low brought you up 271, 74%. This low brought you up 100%. And then this low, we all know what happened. You just absolutely squoze to the moon, 334%. Now, what I'm watching for is this tag, 132 to 125. Seems like crazy. Seems unrealistic. And prices that I would watch before that is 150 and then potentially 140. But I need a sign. Adam Aaron, I need a sign. Come on, man. I need anything. Let's maybe take Bollinger Bands. What are the bands doing? Bands are expanding. Not surprising. Monthly band. So you have support on the monthly band, 158 right now. That's crazy. Let's look on Webull. So on Webull, what we're watching is you're looking at the volume, right? This is max capitulation. You have the volume ramping up into your low. You want to see, ideally, if this was going to find one of those spring bounces, one of those hammer candles, right? You want to see this exact thing happen, right? This downtrend in volume as you go down, and you want to see it be broken by green uptrend volume, healthy buying volume, right? And a long wicked candle. Now, you did have that decrease in volume, but now you've seen this ramp back up, and it seems like it is going to go to 150. It just does. So I think 150 is your next pivot point. And we'll go from there. Continue to make bullish divergence, but you need to see some life. You need to take the defibs and you need to rub them together, right? And maybe you get some love from IWM. Very possible you see a hanging man candle in the weekly time frame off of the all-time high. IWM still looks bullish as ever, seeing as though you just got back above the 9-day EMA. You just closed a high volume green candle up approximately, what is that, $2 on the day. And you've, on the 4-hour, you're kind of flagging out here. Even though it's a symmetrical triangle, you have the 9 on the 4-hour about to cross the 50, which to me signifies you're about to break this horizontal resistance right here. So break 251, you're going back to 253, break back above that, and you're just making another high, right? So I still like IWM here. In fact, on the 4-hour, you literally just came back to tag the 4-hour 200-day EMA, and that's bullish. So all-time highs, literally only how much away? You're 4% away from all-time highs. So no reason to panic, no reason to go crazy. I saw this in another comment. Someone said that, is AMC decoupling from GME? And my honest answer to that would be yes, in a very strange and an unpredicated way that I wouldn't have expected, right? I think AMC is beginning to go its own way. For better or for worse, it's becoming a little bit more deep value and oversold. So what's the flip side of that, right? I do expect when you see a bounce, I do expect it to be larger than GameStop's bounce because you are so oversold, guys. And any swing of the pendulum in a bullish direction, whether it be more rate cut news, I said news, a freaking squeeze, right? Share utilization going crazy, or whether it be debt reduction, top line sales growing, revenue from Avatar. So many different things can drive this thing higher, but you're going to need some kind of fundamental news. You need Adam Aron to step in here and say, this is where I'm taking my company. We are not going bankrupt, right? We are not going to let the shorts win. And that's the kind of oomph you need something right now. So I would say AMC's technical analysis, hard to do at the all-time low. You have divergences, but keep on keeping on. That's the easiest thing I could say. All right, the last stock that I wanted to talk about is Wingstop, guys. Wingstop is absolutely nasty. Guys, can we start talking about Wingstop, please? Wingstop. I got into Wingstop at 218. You can see you have a daily MACD cross. You have a daily hammer candle. You have a weekly MACD cross as of today. You have a bullish engulfing candle. All right. Let's go to Wingstop on the RSI. What does Wingstop do that's special? Ticker symbol Wing, in case you guys aren't aware. Kind of perfect, honestly. Kind of amazing. So Wingstop makes bullish divergence, an equal low, a higher low on Wingstop. This is in the weekly time frame. This is what you want to see, right? Meanwhile, on the MACD, you see a weekly MACD cross. So that's a daily, that's a weekly. You also saw the weekly RSI band break, consolidate, and come back to retest. And what you're watching right now, ladies and gentlemen, is you are seeing history on Wingstop. You are seeing a retest of the weekly RSI band and a bounce. And from that bounce, guys, every single time, I'm just going to take a little history lesson with you guys right now, right? What has happened every single time this has crossed? You got your weekly MACD cross, almost at the low. You saw an 88% rally. Weekly MACD cross, right before you break. You see a 133% rally. Weekly MACD cross, after you break. You see a 180% rally. You see a weekly MACD cross. This is probably the smallest one. Right here, you see a 40% rally. So you're telling me the smallest rally so far is 40%. You see a weekly MACD cross from the COVID low. You see a 200% rally. And this goes on and on and on. Like this literally goes on and on and on Wingstop. And so what I'm watching here for Wingstop is a potential break. A break of this trend line in Adam and Eve double bottom or just a double bottom. And for this profit target to absolute start get ripping, $600 would be insane. Now, not to say that you shouldn't not financial advice, take profit at 343 because that's this overarching downtrend that slapped you down. But if you break this and you retest this and the signs stay positive, Wingstop looks disgusting. Just something I wanted to comment on. You can not care about it. You could completely put it to the side. But to me, Wingstop has the power to be a meme stock. I mean, you're talking about literal tendies. I can vouch for Wingstop. I freaking love their product. Their ranch, their flavors, their freshness, their quality. Everything that you need. Their timeliness. Wingstop has got it all. So that has been the first day back in technical analysis. Make sure to continue drinking your chocolate milk every single day. God bless each and every single one of you guys. Neo video coming next. Peace! And remember, the best is yet to come.